Hey guys, JB here from Alpha Wolf Consulting. Alright, coming to you today with another episode of Stone Days Adventures. And we're down at Lake Weyba. I think that's how you pronounce it. On the Sunshine Coast, up near the sort of Noosa Heads. So, yeah. Just going for a wander around the bushland and just looking to make my way down to the lake. So, in this episode, oh, how beautiful is this bushland, but I absolutely love coming out and exploring all these hidden spots. I spent 10 years living on the Sunshine Coast, and I never even knew there was lakes here until I jumped on Google Maps and started having a look around for places. And that's one of the funny things I've found throughout my life is, for so long of my life, I only ever did what was, the average or the normal. Go to the main beaches, go to the main, hiking spots, go to all the main mountains. And it's always been a thing for me to find those sort of hidden gem places all around, sort of like this, where there's absolutely no one else here, but I'm pretty sure it's bushland. It says on Google Maps that it's National Reserve, which is so difficult because here in Australia, the government, being the way that they are, decided that we don't need access to our national parks and all of that. And it's just crazy. So unless you go to the main national parks, they're always landlocked. But I thought that was a March fly. You got to watch out for those bad boys. They're those horse flies, the ones that bite. But, my way to go about it is, if there's no signs around saying private property, Google Maps says it's National Reserve, it's National Reserve to me. You never want to, because I got some funny stories about accidentally going onto people's properties. Not even bad, but like back up in Rocky, I was trying to find this National Reserve, or sort of like reserve bushland, on this mountain, and Google Maps, being the way it is, not very accurate, decided that this man's property was the parking lot for the National Reserve, or the Bushland Reserve, which was quite funny, because I pulled up there and there was all, no trespassing signs and all of that, so I was like, oh, this is the end of the road for me, I'm going to turn around and go back. And then a car pulled up behind me, so evidently I assumed they lived there, and it turned out to be this bloke's son. But basically he's like, come in, we'll ask my dad if, this thing. And you got to understand and respect people that want private land, because it's everyone's right. Like, if you buy land, like, it's your right to not have random people coming onto your land. But to cut a long story short, it was so funny because I do sales and I understand many social situations and how to basically negotiate, well, not negotiate, but navigate most situations. The funny thing was, is this fella came out and he was super angry. What the fuck do you want, you fucking idiot? What are you fucking doing here? And all this, and I just told him, hey man, I'm trying to get up to that mountain. Do you know any way through? Like, Google Maps says this is the way, but evidently this is private property. Is there another way to get up there and all that? And typically with people, I've found that when they realize you're not actually there to do anything, and like the way I'm able to act and speak is I'm able to mirror someone and then diffuse any hostile situation just with body language and tonality. So things like coming in really soft with your tonalities and sort of lowering it, and sort of not being sort of, the way I put it is, you don't want to be volatile in terms of, you want to have a baseline, because, oh Jesus, that was a spider web. If you're calm at a low baseline, people don't expect to be attacked. So like, for example, if I was nervous or anything like that, he probably would have doubled down and gone worse. And, you know, but being able to, you know, just calmly talk and just say to him, like, I'm all good, I'll go somewhere else, like, it's absolutely no stress. By the end of the conversation, like, he was being nice, you know, because the thing is if you're aggressive to people in terms of, if you're like, if someone's aggressive to you and you're highly polite and highly soft-spoken, they tend to find it really difficult to stay aggressive or mad, because what'll typically happen is, you know, for example, is it's hard to be angry or aggressive at someone unwarranted. So, you know, the easiest way I've always found to defuse situations is to not react or respond to other people's negative behavior when they're angry or stressed, and to usually just, you know, stand your ground, but it's not like standing your ground confrontationally. So, you know, you always want to appease them by not sort of putting yourself into conflict with them. So you always want to try and navigate a path that is least conflict. And how beautiful is it out here? It's absolutely gorgeous. But I always get concerned because there's a property there, but this technically should still be a public road. And it says it's bushland, so we'll run it till we get shot. But that was one of the funny things with this fella up in Rocky, was, you know, he politely warned me, if you were to come back here at night, they would find your car with bullet holes in it 300 metres down the road. So, like, you know, he was hinting at, we don't ask questions out here. We will just shoot any trespasser that comes onto the land or comes near the land, which is so funny, because, like, you know, from his perspective, there's a lot of, like, you know, drugs and shit like that, and like ice addicts that do some wild stuff. And when you're out, you know, on a property by yourself, well, not so much by yourself, but when you live on a property away from civilization, in terms of when you live out in the countryside, there's, you know, you can call the police, but it might be, you know, an hour or two before they show up. So you got to understand that, you know, when we're dealing with other people's, and this is a funny thing and a really important rule I have from doing door-to-door sales, is you never want to make someone feel uncomfortable in their own property. So you can imagine, you know, if someone came to your house and then made you feel nervous or uncomfortable that you're in danger or that you're not safe in your own house. And, you know, that's a important thing, because your house or your home is sort of, to most people, to pretty much anyone and everyone, it's sort of like a sacred, safe place. So we always want to be highly, highly respectful of other people's, you know, land and property. Damn, it's nice, but it's a bit overgrown here. Look at that. So that's the lake just there. But we might walk down it, see how we go. I always get nervous in this long grass, just because you can't always see the snakes. And if you see here, I'm just tromping around barefoot. So it just means we have to be a little bit more careful than if we had shoes and long pants on. Woo! Woo, woo, woo! This grass. But like, you know, from my upbringing, in terms of like this sort of stuff, this is like pretty normal to me. When I was out doing pineapple picking, pineapple farming, just look at how beautiful that lake is, but how gorgeous is that? This is what I mean, there's so many absolutely beautiful places around that are just, here, little spider, that are just outside of what we would normally go to. So we might keep trekking and see if we can't find a bit of a cleaner spot to go in and check out the lake. But it's like, it's just absolutely beautiful. I'm very jealous when I find these properties and like they're right by this lake, and you just think, how amazing would it be, you know, to sort of have this as your, pretty much your space, you know, pretty much most days when other people aren't around. You know what I mean? It's just, like, I love it because you can really hear the birds, you can hear the insects. We're around all these amazing trees, which is so beautiful. And sort of, I love it because we're walking down a stony road. This is sort of a bit of what I do personally as a form of training, is I like to hike and trek barefoot, especially down stone roads, because it's not that it's painful, but every step you have to take more conscious effort, and you can't just sort of trudge along, because you've got to sort of account for all the loose rocks. If you're stomping around, it hurts quite a bit. But the other thing is most people walk, hike and run in shoes. What are you ever going to do in a survival situation where you have no shoes? Like if you're stuck in the middle of the bushland and you've got no shoes and all you've got is barefoot, like how are you going to sort of get through it? To most people, their mind can't handle it, and they would see walking, you know, down a stony road, even just 10 k's, as being a near impossible feat because of how much pain they'd be in the first few steps. See, that's the thing, and why I love this form of training, cane training I call it, is from the first step, you know it's going to hurt every step, you know, but you're still going to go there. So it's consciously and intentionally exposing yourself to pain. Because what I've found is when you expose yourself intentionally to pain, it's less painful. When I try and avoid pain, it's always more painful when I experience pain. And I use this personally as a form of mindset training, because I want to get comfortable in discomfort. So, take the metaphor, walking down this stony road. Whoa, that was a big rock. And it just rolled under my foot, right under the middle. But take it as a metaphor, and then, basically use it as a metaphor in business. So many times, the reason people quit business is because it's too difficult, it's too painful. They were hoping for a sandy beach track and they got a stony road. And they can't handle it because it's not where their expectations are. So I use this as a way to sort of set my expectations into being comfortable in discomfort. And then I try and cross over the sort of lessons and things I learn about myself when I put myself through pain, and and I try and use them in business, because in business, life is pain. Business doesn't work overnight. Business isn't easy. There are many, painful roads you have to walk down to get to the result you want. But if every road you walk down 500 meters and go, no, this is too difficult, this is too painful, you're always jumping from idea to idea, from business model to business model, from strategy to strategy. And that's what I see so much when I talk to people, is most of the people, that I speak with all around the place, they always tell me that they're hardworking, they push themselves through pain and all of this, but they're always looking for the easy way, the shortest solution. And I don't understand why, but they never believe me when I say that the shortest and the quickest route is always the most difficult route. Because at least if I commit to the most difficult route, I don't have to worry about changing plans, because difficulty always equals the result. If I choose in my, let's say weight loss, I choose the difficult route of having a strict diet and an exercise plan. For me, I do hiking and walking because I love it so much. So for example, I don't see this as exercising. I see this as walking through the forest. I just love listening and looking around and the smells. But it's if I just commit to that and that just becomes my normal, look at that. How beautiful, bud. But if I commit to the hardest path and make it my only path, by default, I will always achieve what I want to achieve, because, it's just a matter of time and effort until I achieve. Ooh, that's a bit sloppy down there. But check it out, we've had a fair bit of rain, so it's a bit washed out down there. We might have to go back. Oh no, there's a little way that way. But it's sort of it's so funny, because especially in my business and stuff like that, so many times, on, for example, LinkedIn, I'll get messages every day from these, internet marketers and these YouTubers or YouTube marketers and things like that, and SEO marketers. Jesus, everything's touching me. And god damn, that's beautiful. Yeah, that's private property on that way. But like I get these messages from these SEO people on YouTube, and they tell me how they can get me 100,000 subscribers in 30 days. And I ask them, do you have any channels that you can show me? Like, do you run a channel for yourself? You know, because the funny thing is, anyone can get 100,000 subscribers in a month. All you have to do is find the most popular person on YouTube and then copy them word for word and strategy for strategy and just imitate them. Oh, how beautiful is this? Check out this. Look at that road. And then we got another path that goes down that way. I think we're going to go this way. Absolutely beautiful out here, but yeah. So like, the ones who are always telling me, you know, about these easy short ways to achieve in life, they're always seeking to just copy and imitate, not to create. And it's so funny because, like, if you have never done what I am trying to do, why would you understand what my goals and milestones are that I'm trying to achieve? So for example, these SEO people, oh, it's washed out here too, dang. But these SEO people, look at how beautiful it is, but it's absolutely gorgeous. And like,